Season 4, you must not choose your build wrong. It's super important this season, more than in any other season, to choose your build correctly. Let's talk about why. But before that, welcome to Goblin-Inc. I'm your host, Ace of Spades. Currently, I have two builds in mind that could be very powerful. Boulder, as you can see, it's currently bugged, but probably will get fixed. And the second one is Tornado, which, if Boulder isn't bugged, should be the top tier build of the season for Druid. But why is it so important to choose your build correctly this season? The answer to that is tempering. So tempering, let's take a look. Tempering can only be done 5 times, I believe, and it's something that adds a new stat to your item, which is incredibly overpowered. So let's take a look at some of them. For example, Earth, we have chance for Landslide projectile to cast twice, very overpowered, but also chance for Boulder projectile to cast twice. As you can see, casting projectiles twice means double damage when it procs. It's incredibly overpowered and also pretty much doubles your lucky hit chance and also doubles any effect related to casting abilities. Extremely overpowered. And this can only be done 5 times. Now, once you lock your item and you enchanted it with your tempering, now that item is gonna be locked that way forever. Meaning that if you want to play another build, it's not gonna work. If you have Landslide projectile casting twice, you wanna play a Tornado build on that item, that item is just not gonna be good for the build. Now, let's go over the builds that I suggest to take a solid look at for the next season. For the same reason, tempering is really what is making or breaking builds this season. So let's take a look at tempering for weapons. Really the most important part is this one. So chance for Boulder to cast twice and chance for Landslide to cast twice. I think that pretty much anything that does not have cast twice is not viable. Casting skills twice, completely broken, overpowered. And if we take a look also at Storm Augments that do the same thing, so the Storm Tempering, we have chance for Tornado to cast twice, but for example, Lightning Storm, we only have duration. So Lightning Storm, not as powerful in my opinion as Tornado. Tornado was a very close build to a lot of builds last season, and due to tempering, it's really shooting up. So for sure it's gonna be super top tier, but there is one more thing that I think makes Tornado better than Boulder. Let's take a look. And to look at that, we have to take a look at Paragon nodes. One Paragon node is called, well, it's a legendary node called Thunderstruck. As you can see in my case, my Thunderstruck node is 126% multiplier. That's because this is not capped. Now, unlike the Earth one, that if we take a look in Earth and Devastation, as you can see, it only goes up to 40%. It's very similar. You get multiplier when you stack your crowd control damage bonus. Instead, for Thunderstruck is your damage to close or damage to distant. How much though damage distant and close you are getting this season? Infinite, pretty much. Take a look at this. 270 in this case, 331 if you max roll damage to close. You can also get it, 100% on your gloves, and on any offensive item you can get that. So also you can get it on your amulet, and you can get it on your rings as well. So you can get absurd amount of that, and my items aren't even leveled up. Like my item are only enchanted +4, and only my weapon is masterworking plus 12, which is pretty much the new upgrade. So I want to discuss Tornado for this video. I really think that after they nerf the bug to Boulder, it's gonna be the top build. So maybe let's take a look at this Tornado build and take a look at the possible Tornado builds that we can play next season and go over a few variants of that. So let's take a look at this build first. This build is a Tempest Roar build with no Grizzly Rage. It is playing Pets for now, but maybe Pets are not needed because the damage is really high. And we're running Hunter's Zenith so that we can reset the cooldown of Debilitating Roar, as DR is really the most important thing this season. They removed any type of DR from gear pretty much, And getting DR is really hard, and the ability to roar is incredible to clear the pits. But with better gear, I'm sure you wouldn't need to run this one. There's also the option of running different defensive skills and not running past to look at, but I would say there's 3 main builds that we are gonna look at now. First one is Hunter's Zenith build. And we are not gonna be needing Grizzly Rage nor Tybalt's Will for resources, as you can run a 50% resource cost reduction on your weapon. It's a stat that now can roll on weapons, so that pretty much takes care of that, as well as running resource generation on your ring. So really not having a lot of resource issues at all, especially because also your trample can generate resources for you when you cast. This is the build I'm running, very easy build to run. I'm running Shepherd, of course, and I'm running Masochist is now buffed, heals a lot. Very standard, you use a defensive skill, you get Fortify, HP and crit damage. Again, very important to get crit damage now. I'll go very quick because I want to talk about the variations more than focus on a single build, but if you want to try this on PTR, we're gonna go for Territorial, you're gonna go for Exploit on the second board because Vulnerability DR is important. You run Thunderstruck, you take both of the HP nodes here. We have Fang and Claw in Heightened Malice. We have Earth and Sky in Constricting Tendrils. Ancestral Guidance, we take it with Undaunted. And we take Werewolf in Last War Carnage. Undaunted, usually you don't run this in previous seasons because the DR is not important and the damage isn't always up. But in this case, DR is king this season. For my skills, very important to talk about the Keystone passive. In this case, it's Perfect Storm. It's been buffed, and each time your storm skills hit something, they grant 1 spirit if the target is vulnerable. That's also why we run Exploit, and that's also why Cast Twice is very important, because you get double the spirit. Very, very strong. We run pretty much full points here, only 1 point in Quick Shift. 3 and 3 points for Defiance and Circle of Life. Trample with mana for bosses and Venom. We take the Pets. Debilitating Roar for spamming it and heals and grants Fortify. Of course, Vigilance and Ancestral Fortitude. Iron Fur, 9% damage reduction. Digigreat Gate got buffed. It is now 12% move speed. Wild Impulses got bug fixed apparently. Need to test this one out. And it's now multiplicative, and of course we take the Tornado that are vulnerable. Also, each time you cast Tornado, you have a 20% chance to spawn an additional Tornado. I'm not sure if this spawns 3 tornadoes, but I would have to test. Your basic skill doesn't matter. And that's pretty much the first build, right? Just a basic one with Perfect Storm and Hunter's Zenith. But what other builds are possible? Let's investigate that. The first build I'm gonna talk about is the Earth and Might variation. To understand that, we're gonna first take a look at my gear, so we can also see the aspects I have on this one. Here, for example, I have resource cost reduction, attack speed, max life. Here we have crit chance on my and attack speed on my gloves, and then I have max life. Not running lucky hit. And on my ring, I also am running crit chance. Same for my amulet. The interesting thing is that if you're gonna be running the Earth and Might variation for the build, is that we want to have some lucky hit chance. Now, this is Earth and Might we talked a little bit about before, but Earth and Might will grant spirit and maximum crit chance. So really no need to have a lot of crit chance for this build. What you want to do is you want to have a lot of lucky hit chance so that you can get this back often. And you're going to run that with Grizzly Rage. Grizzly Rage is very important. We're going to run the Dire Wolf aspect, which is gonna grant us move speed and resource cost reduction, meaning that we're not gonna be needing to run the resource cost reduction on our stuff, and that's also a big upgrade, of course, so we can invest more into lucky hit and other important stats for us, especially because of how much attack speed also we're getting this season from all those items having attack speed rolls like rings. We're gonna be casting a lot of tornadoes really fast and really get those Earth and Might out. So a lucky hit heavy build with the reset from Calm Before the Storm for your Grizzly Rage, possibly Flicker Step, but I'm gonna be testing it without Flicker Step, and I think you might be able to reset Grizzly Rage no problem. Also because we have cooldown reduction on Totem, and you can have also cooldown reduction on your Amulet. Very generous this season, honestly, with the stats. So I think we can pretty much do that. There is also a tempering with the increased duration, I believe, of your Grizzly Rage. I'm not sure if it's on weapons. It might be here. Yeah, Grizzly Rage duration. Would I want to have a 20% Grizzly Rage duration instead of a double cast Tornado? Probably not, but it could be something to think at. The last variation I'm gonna discuss is based off the old build we ran in previous season, which is Symbiotic Aspect, and in combination with Nature's Fury. And this could be really powerful as you cast skills twice now. But I'm telling you why this is not gonna be good this season, and that's because of Earthen Bulwark. Earthen Bulwark grants a barrier that absorbs 45% of your base life. Your base life is nothing, because nowadays your HP is crazy. As you can see, 49k HP. That's absolutely crazy. It's more than double the HP we used to have the previous season. Well, not really double, but almost there. And I think it's gonna be double when I get, better gear. So, everything that is working on base life, it's pretty much worthless. It's something that they will have to balance. This is the first season, they have the new items. They don't really know exactly what they're doing. It will take a little bit of time to adjust for the developers. But I think this season is gonna be extremely bad for Earthen Bulwark and Symbiotic Nature's Fury types builds. So we're gonna have to let that go for this season and think about it maybe the next season. Those are the three main variations of the build. I think variation number 2 with Earthen Might and Grizzly Rage might be the best one. And also because this will allow us to play with Cyclone Armor and Hurricane for damage reduction instead of running pets. You can also run pets with Grizzly Rage, actually. The pets stay active even while your Grizzly Rage is going on. We'll see. But I think Earthen Might really might be king. We're gonna take a look at that on my next video. Probably I will try to see how much Lucky Hit I can stack and how effective it is. But I'm really surprised by how powerful Tornado is, even with the bad gear and, only playing 1 day of PTR. Already has been. Maybe Madwolf Glee also will be very important for the build. I seriously doubt Tibble's will is ever gonna be played. You really need to have the pants for the stats. It gives the armor, the maximum life are very important. And also the defensive aspect this season are very key. Guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all on the next video with some updates.